Alright, time for my favorite movie of all time is Airplane. Yeah, that's my favorite movie. It's not what you expected, I guess. The weird thing is that, of course, I know that this is just a comedy, so it movies like these typically don't show up at the top of people's lists because they don't value comedies as much as they value like real heartfelt stories and stuff. Like, okay, The Shawshank Redemption is an amazing movie with an amazing story, but Airplane is incredibly funny, and to me, the best thing in the world, apart from other things that we're not going to talk about, is laughing. And Airplane is so goddamn funny that it's my favorite movie. I said way before that I love parodies, and this is the first one, not really the first one. The first one was Kentucky Fried Movie. Well, not the first one, I guess, but the first one by Zucker, Abrams, and Zucker, anyway. Airplane was their second, and it's the parodies of movies that I haven't seen, like Zero Hour and what was it, Airport 75 or something. I haven't seen those movies, but it doesn't. I don't have to because of this movie. I can't really say much more than it's just really, 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 really funny. But I guess I'll just have to rattle off a few jokes that I particularly love. It has so many jokes, different kinds of jokes too. It's like it has sight gags, and it has those some just kind of weird, like all the reporters. They after they let's get some pictures, fellas, and they just grab pictures off of the wall. Then they just sort of run out into like a telephone box, and the telephone, like the row of telephone things, just falls over. I don't know why that is funny per se, but it's something falling over, so it's at least somehow inherently humorous. But there are a variety of verbal jokes, like this recurring gag of like, these patients has to be gotten to a hospital. A hospital? What is it? Well, it's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now. There was a message from headquarters. Headquarters? What is it? Well, it's a big building where the generals are, but that's not important right now. And when he has his flashback to, oh yeah, by the way, because it's basically a romance movie as the middle thing. Robert Stack chases after Elaine Dickinson, played by Julie Haggerty, and she doesn't want him back. He wants her back, and he jumps on this plane at the last moment, buys a smoking ticket. It's smoking, and she doesn't want to talk to him, so he just sits down with various people, and then he tells them stories about his romance, and they're just like, oh, I don't want to listen to it. So there's an old woman, and then when he comes out of flashback, she's hung herself. There's this Japanese or Asian guy who's like, and then when he comes out of that flashback, he's doing harikiri, and then there's this guy with a turban who pours gasoline on himself and is about to light a match, and then he gets called away to the cockpit, and then he like blows out the match, goes like this, and then poof, it blows up anyway. Of course, that doesn't affect the plane or anything. In his flashback, he has like this, and his voiceover says, "That, as much as anything else, led to my drinking problem." Like, drinking problem, like, it's so funny. It's so many small things. When they're on the beach in the flashback, and he's like, I have to. This has been so wonderful, Elaine, but I have to leave you now. Our squadron is going out tomorrow. We're flying low under the radar, so we can blah blah blah. The Delta blah blah blah. 1800 hours. When are you coming back? I can't tell you that. It's classified. Like, that's a subtle joke. I mean, he tells her all that kind of information, and then just like a really simple question: when are you coming back? That's classified. That's more subtle humor than just a shovel in the face, if you get my meaning, with scary movie and disaster movie and epic movie and all those kind of shitty movies. Leslie Nielsen makes his grand parody movie debut in this movie, and he just plays it super straight, as if he's in a super dramatic movie, although he does and says ridiculous things. Or ridiculous stuff happens around him anyway. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has a weird cameo. Not really a cameo, but yeah, that's also the Roger, what's our Victor? Like, Roger, huh? Because his name is Roger. Yeah, and like, we have Clarence over. That's Clarence over. Oh yeah, Clarence over, the pilot, played by Peter Graves, when he comes into the airport, and the speaker's like, Captain Clarence over, white courtesy phone. Captain Clarence over, white courtesy phone. And he goes up, and there's like different ones, and he picks up a red one, and then the telephone says, "No, the white phone." And then he and then puts it in, picks up the white phone. I mean, that alone is just so fucking funny. And you notice the small things. I take my the little boy who comes and sits next to the girl, and would you like some tea? Oh yes, please, and or a coffee, and like, cream? No, I take it black, like my men. I'm just like, what the fuck? The jokes in this movie too are pretty risque by today's standards, and the I speak jive bit, lay 'em down and smack 'em, yak 'em. I don't know. It's just and Steven Stucker, my favorite gay person in the whole wide world. Too bad he died of AIDS. He's just totally cuckoo in this movie. But the fog is getting thicker, and Leon's getting larger. And at the end, when they're trying to land, and the lights go out, and he just like, and then just kidding, put it back in. They're all going to the tower, and like, the tower, Rapunzel. He's completely insane, but just adorable. Robert Stack is the other pilot with 2 pairs of sunglasses. Lloyd Bridges is great. I mean, there's barely any jokes I don't like in this movie. I think there are a few that I just don't understand. It's like, it set the formula for other movies to follow, like Top Secret and then Naked Gun, Hot Shots, and other ones. But as they went on, they became more hit. I mean, Airplanes just hit. But then it became more hit and miss until you ended up with stuff like Jane Austen's Mafia or something, when you have 80% misses and 20% hits or something. But I don't know, it's just too fucking funny, this movie. And if you, like me, miss humor like that, watch A Touch of Cloth, made by British people. I forget the guy who made it again, but what his name was. But it's a miniseries, basically 3 movie-length crime things. But they used that kind of humor, and it's really, really funny. But yeah, Airplane, it's my favorite movie. A little different choice, but I stand by it.